Pope John Paul was the first pope to visit a synagogue, and he touched the lives of people of all faiths, as we've been saying. With us now is David Bernstein, Executive Director of the American Jewish Committee's Washington chapter. Also with us is Arsalan Iftikhar. He is the Legal Director for the Council on American Islamic Relations. And gentlemen, thank you very much for being here with us. And understand that was a particular affinity with John Paul II for Muslims. He was also the first pope to set foot in a mosque. How important was that symbolism?
It was extremely important. I think that, the world has truly lost one of its most beloved citizens. In addition to being the first pope to visit a synagogue in April 1986 in Rome, the pope was also the first pope to set foot in a mosque. He visited the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus, Syria in 1991, and I think Pope John Paul's legacy was to raise the level of public discourse when it came to interfaith relations worldwide.
The fact that he also disapproved of the war in Iraq and made no bones about it to even President George W. Bush, that also put him in a different place in the hearts of people in the Muslim world, didn't it?
It did indeed. It sent a very strong message because not only did the Pope come out in opposition to the war, but he said that the ramifications of the war may lead to greater religious polarization throughout the world. And I think that, if you look at the legacy and history of Pope John Paul, his dedication to social justice and human rights have never wavered at all.
To both of you, he was a man who had great respect from all corners of the world. But this was a place where he could not affect the peace that he wanted to see before his death. What do you want from the next pope? How involved should he be in the Mideast peace?
Well, I think if this pope even approaches the legacy of Pope John Paul II, we'll all be better off. I think this next pope, by speaking in a voice of interreligious dialogue, by bringing together Jews, Christians, Muslims, and other faiths, just by that symbolic stand alone, the Pope can help bring together and call together the various parties in the Middle East peace process.
I completely agree with David. I think that if you look at the history of papal legacies, Pope John Paul II has really set a new standard in terms of interfaith discourse and international dialogue. And, I hope, like David, that the next pontiff will have that same dedication to social justice that Pope John Paul II did.
And it's amazing because we're hearing from Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak. They're sending a delegation to Rome, which is supposedly going to be one of the largest Arab Muslim delegations going. Will there be anyone from the Holy Land, from the Jewish state going, or even from the American Jewish Congress?
Yeah, well, we certainly will have, the American Jewish Committee will certainly have a representative at the Vatican. I have no doubt that the Israeli government also plans to send a delegation. This Pope, after all, was the Pope who helped establish relations between the Vatican and the Jewish state. And now, today, there are normal relations, and I think, as a result, the next Pope can play a much more active role in standing for peace in the Middle East.
David Bernstein, Arsalan Iftikhar, thank you both for being here with us.
Thank you, Andrea.